Mr. Senator, may I may I kick this off by saying I think it would be a catastrophe. You'd have delays, you wouldn't have results for days, you'd have contested signatures. It would be an utter mess. Are you with me on this?
You know, basically I am, Stu. You can read the Wall Street Journal article that articulated it well, but there are valid issues at stake. You want the vote to be secure, and you do not want any voter suppression. So, boils down to, do we have a system that's broken? And I don't think so. I think if it's not broken, why try to fix it? It's another one of, I think, Speaker Pelosi's attempts to move more of the agenda broadly into this whole discussion of coronavirus. But when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, let's look at the different ways to vote. Compared to years ago and now, you can vote early. You can vote through absentee ballot. You can have a clerk's representative do it, and that's where you get into issues where somebody else is retrieving a ballot. And what do you think has more opportunity for probably bringing fraud into it? The machines and the technology are so good that I think we ought to stick with that as the primary cornerstone. I want to give you an interesting story. It happened here in my hometown of Jasper, Indiana. 2015, we had a mayor's race that ended up 1856 to 1856. In other words, a dead heat. I was sitting there watching the vote come in, and it was decided eventually by a technicality where an absentee ballot, the envelope was not initialed, and there were probably 3 or 4 other ballots that were in dispute, but that's the one thing that did it. That's a technicality. That's what you get into when you want to go to this idea of moving away from technology and machines to mail-in ballots, not to mention the U.S. Postal Service and all the issues that might come along with it.
So your position is stick with the machines that we've got, but make the ballot accessible in some way with strict rules on mail-in ballots. Is that where you're coming from?
Definitely. And in areas of voter suppression, that cannot be tolerated. You need to focus in on those particular areas rather than do what Democrats, Speaker Pelosi's been trying to do through this whole episode, and that's to take advantage of doing things broadly, just like the one-size-fits-all approach to the pandemic, which I never agreed with. And I think that's playing out currently in the states that had the latitude to do what they know is working in the trenches. They are going to be the ones coming out, landing on their feet, and we're going to have a great test of that unfolding right in front of us. So,
Senator Braun, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Clean cut, straight at it. We love that. Thanks very much, sir. We'll see you again real soon.
Thank you, Steve.